Hello and welcome to this presentation of the University of Liberia Alumni Association in the Americas. With the birth of the new nation of Liberia in 1847 in West Africa, and shortly thereafter, the wheels were set into motion for the establishment of an institution of higher learning today known as the University of Liberia, the successor to Liberia College. In 1851, the National Legislature of Liberia authorized the establishment of Liberia College, which is now the second oldest institution of higher learning in West Africa. The trustees of the Nation for Education in Liberia purchased materials and hired the first faculty for Liberia College with funds from private organizations and contributions from individuals in the United States. Chartering a ship and loading it with building materials for the college, the first faculty and materials left New York City, New York, and arrived in Monrovia, the Liberian capital, on December 28, 1856. Realizing that the originally designated site of Liberia College, the Clay Ashland area, was too swampy and unsuitable for the college, the trustees voted to locate the college on a bluff at Cape Mesurado within the city limits of the capital, Monrovia. Continued disputes concerning the college's charter further delayed construction, which finally began on January 25, 1858. Classes at the then Liberia College, now the University of Liberia, officially began on February 2, 1863. The first class was comprised of 7 male students, including 3 who held scholarships from the New York Colonization Society. Mr. Joseph Jenkins Roberts, the president of the new West African nation, was chosen to become the college's first president in 1862. A New York City native, Alexander Crummell, a black Episcopalian priest and scholar, trained at Cambridge University in England, was a founding member of the faculty of Liberia College. Liberia College at the time was privately funded by donations from the United States until World War II. At that point, the Liberian government took over the college and provided financial support. Reflecting a growing economy and a public desire for a state university, in 1951, the Liberian legislature chartered the University of Liberia as a national university. That same year, the newly chartered university inaugurated the only formal law school in the country, the Louis Arthur Grimes School of Law, named after a prominent Liberian jurist and politician. Some presidents of Liberia College, now the University of Liberia, include President Joseph Jenkins Roberts, Garrison W. Gibson, Edward Wilmot Blyden, and Dr. J. Max Bond Sr. Others are J. Dawson, Rochford Lafayette Weeks, Dr. Mary Antoinette Brown Sherman, Dr. Patrick Sayan, and Dr. Frederick Wigby. Still other presidents of the university are Dr. Ben Roberts, Dr. Al Hassan Conte, and Dr. Emmett Dennis. The newly installed president of the University of Liberia is a daughter of a former president of the university, Rochford Lafayette Weeks. She is a scientist and academician, Dr. Ophelia Weeks. Currently, the University of Liberia has 6 colleges, 3 graduate programs, and 3 professional schools. Due to civil strife, the university was forced to close several times between 1979 and 1984. The university also did not grant any degrees between 1989 and 1993 due to the Liberian Civil War. The first commencement exercise post-conflict was held in 1994. The University of Liberia is again an active learning institution, and in 2009 had an estimated total student enrollment of over 18,000. That enrollment number has now surpassed over 25,000 students studying in various disciplines. A mainstay, well-renowned, and preeminent icon of the University of Liberia was its choral group under the leadership of the late music professor, arranger, and performer, Mrs. Agnes Nebo von Balmus. From 1961 through 1990, Professor von Balmus taught students everything from Italian madrigals to gospel and traditional songs sung in the villages in Liberia and parts of Africa, for which she was the first to set to music. Former students, graduates, and students who fled the Liberian Civil War some years ago gathered in Maryland, the United States, and resurrected the Alumni Choral Group, which has thrilled audiences and hosted benefit concerts across the United States using original musical arrangements from Professor von Balmus. Many of the recorded performances of the University of Liberia Alumni Choral Group can be found on YouTube, on the internet. A choral member, Miss Raina Smith Jarrett, is quoted in an article in the Washington Post newspaper in the past as saying, "She, Professor von Balmus, taught us to appreciate music. She taught us to appreciate African culture, how to dress, how to wrap our hair, and how to conduct ourselves in public. Many times in my life, I hear her, I feel her presence." The memory and professional musical excellence of Professor von Balmus and the pride of the University of Liberia live on through the University of Liberia Alumni Choral Group. The University of Liberia Alumni Association in the Americas is keeping the torch alive among graduates, former students, and friends of this great Liberian academic institution over the many years under various leaderships. Today, in line with prior administrations, a new alumni association led by alumnus Mr. Melvin Datu Howard has laid out an ambitious roadmap to revitalize the university, undertake and support project initiatives, including the digitization of the institution's record system. The Alumni Association, through the president, Mr. Howard, has also undertaken several national and international outreach engagements with individuals, communities, and partners who are interested in providing assistance to improve the structural and academic capacity of the institution. Some organizations with which engagements have been initiated include the Massachusetts Alliance for the Restoration of the University of Liberia, known by its acronym MARO, the Suffolk University Alumni Association in Boston, Massachusetts, the Trustees of Donations for Education in Liberia, the TDEL, and a sister organization, the Cottonton University College Alumni Association in the Americas. In seeking to attract assistance for the University of Liberia and develop working relationships with stakeholders and partners, Alumni President Mr. Howard says the motto of the organization, "Time to give back to the university," will continue to remain his goal and focus. There is renewed excitement and hope quickly spreading among alumni members and friends of the University of Liberia with the new leadership in place. Through their effective and wide mobilization and outreach, the new Alumni Association leadership is seeing renewed dynamism and renewed engagement among its members. Current officers of the University of Liberia Alumni Association in the Americas are Melvin Datu Howard, National President; Sangai D. Cooper, National Vice President; Charles Hiama, National Secretary; Kube B. Wilson, National Financial Secretary; Sayundi Kofa, National Treasurer; and the Reverend Alexander T. Morris, National Chaplain. A new board of directors and regional vice presidents have also been constituted to assist the current leadership. The national leadership of the University of Liberia Alumni Association in the Americas is inviting all alumni members, former students, and friends of the university to join in efforts to improve the academic standard and excellence and the structural improvement and sustainability and restore the glory of the University of Liberia. Lux in tenebris, light in darkness. The national leadership is asking for your financial support and personal service to achieve these goals. More information on activities of the University of Liberia Alumni Association can be found on the association's website, ulibaa.org, and on Facebook, facebook.com/ulibaa2. Thank you for watching. I'm alumnus Emmanuel Abalo for the University of Liberia Alumni Association in the Americas.